All right, welcome back to the show. It is June 16th here in our favorite state, Iowa. Make the Creeps, joined by my co-host, Mr. Bryce Bortscheller. Bryce, I got to give you a lot of credit. I think if you include all of our guests, we are around our 48th consecutive week hosting a podcast.
Yep.
And we've had one of the craziest days today, one of the craziest weekends.
Uh-huh.
And I tried wimping out of it. I texted you and said, man, maybe we
Uh-huh.
skip this week. And you said, no,
Dude,
nope, the streak stays alive. And here we are. So thank
you
you.
you are one of the best people in the world at snap streaks, at least for people our age that I know.
Yeah.
And one thing I'm really proud of is delivering whatever this podcast is every single week. And like you said, is whatever this podcast is
I
every single week. And like you said, because we look like little lobsters out here. But
what what was I thinking? We are 2 months away from going a year straight and recording
yeah.
this podcast. About a year ago today, we talked about the conversations of having this podcast. So we're
hmm
close to getting a year. We're gonna get it done. Thank you for pulling your boy back together. Let's recap this weekend because man, it's what
Yeah,
a
you texted me in
bet.
shambles, and what was that about? You gave me a little rundown this morning when we were
I
golfing.
don't know if you can see
Yeah,
that.
the sunburn. For anyone watching on YouTube, Nate is burnt to a crisp, and that's because of golf, I'm assuming.
Hurt. Yeah. I had a went home this weekend. Had our annual alumni tournament, 4-man best shot up in Algona, and it was just I realized how little I've been outside for that long stretch of time with that much sun beating down in it because there's no Canadian wildfires to fucking protect you. So it's finally sunny for once. And all I did was I had my black polo, which was a huge mistake wearing that day. So I eventually started rolling up my sleeves. And when you're 12 beers deep, you kind of forget they're rolled up. And
Yeah.
then once sudden arm movement, you realize, fuck, they've been up for the last 3 hours.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Mm-hmm. And it sounded like the golf tournament, as sometimes golf tournaments do. You have lags in the speed, and so you took a little extra time, maybe even got an extra hour of time. Which, man, if there's one thing about a golf tournament, you're gonna get a little tipsy, and you were definitely gonna get a sunburn. It's just part of being in a 4-man best shot.
Yeah, we were 9-hole course, your typical small town Iowa
Yep.
course, and I think we took about third place this year. I know we won the last 2 years, so shout to the winning team that shot 16 under.
That's
I
good.
wasn't
Really good
wasn't about
score.
to compete with that, but I had a good time. Just glad it was the best part of the day was just getting out of done with the tournament. I think the final 9 holes were like, get us the hell out of here.
Yeah. No, I know that feeling. And, I'm still relatively new to the golf scene, and I haven't been in an overwhelming amount of 4-man best shots, but it does get to a point towards the end of the round where you're like, I wouldn't mind this being over. As much as I love golfing, it does get long in the 4-man best shot format.
Yeah, when you're drinking, you're playing in a slow tournament.
Uh huh.
It can get long, but when
Yeah.
you're not drinking and you're not playing a tournament, and you're just doing 4-man like we did today. We could have played 36 holes.
Yep. Yep. We had an awesome day. I'll go into a little bit of the weekend. I
Yeah, I
honestly,
want to hear your
it
weekend.
was it was busy, but it was busy in a good way. Iowa Chill has a brand new project that I am so excited for anybody that watches and listens to this episode. We are launching Iowa Chilled Meats. After Bacon Fest in Des Moines in May, we reached out to Shamus and the crew at Birkwood Farms in Ankeny and said, "Hey, thanks for the free stuff." Scott sent him a little message, said that, as usual, the bacon's on par and amazing and some of the best stuff you can get. And he's like, I can't believe you reached out because I was going to reach out to you guys. We have this 50-50 Berkshire pork, 50% American Wagyu, and I've been wanting to bring it to the public. Normally they're not, they do a little bit out of their retail spot in Ankeny, but they don't take a lot of stuff to the general consumer. You kind of got to find your spots in Des Moines. He finally has a product, and we, within a few weeks, have whipped up a deal, and we're going to bring, I think, some of the best pork products you could possibly get in Iowa. So we had the inaugural event for Iowa Chilled Meats over at the Free Range Music and Barbecue down at Jasper Winery, and we went through like 500 pounds of the stuff. Probably 150 pounds of Little Smokies, smoky pork sausage, and another like 350 to 400 pounds of the 50-50 mix. And
Who is the grill master?
that would be Shamus and the Birkwood team. They are
Oh, so you boys didn't have to flip them
yeah.
all.
Yeah, and I would have. We were prepared. We had our aprons and everything, but no, we were just dispensing the stuff that they whipped up. They were gas. So that event went from like 2 to 10 downtown that Jasper Winery just off of the Waterworks Park, and awesome turnout. First of all, I know for the Des Moines listener, if you've been to one of those music sessions on Thursday night at Jasper, super great time. He knew what he was doing. Basically, set up a Father's Day barbecue situation, and I think what it sounds like he's going to do it over and over again because it was such a success. But for us, it was the first taste and smells and reactions of the product, and it went so great. Only good things from everybody that got a taste.
When I first started this company with you boys, I had some expectations, a lot of goals set. One of them was not having our own meat.
Yes, I know. And there's a
But here we
million
are.
ideas for the years, right? Like what's it going to be? Like, is it going to be a beer? Is it going to be, obviously T-shirts and stuff everyone can do, but I think this is going to be a cool one. I really do. And it was a
That's
great event.
that's the great thing about our company and
Yeah.
all the cool things we can get ourselves invested into the awesome state that we love here. So that's good. No, it looked like a great turnout. I'm glad you guys went through 500 pounds of meat, and I'm glad that you were the one not having to flip 500 pounds of meat.
Yeah, because it got
That's cool.
hot. That was the same day you were playing in that tournament. I mean, we felt the heat too. That's no doubt. Yeah, and just I mean, the last little piece on that, we'll get more into it as it comes to the store launch and where people can get it and stuff. We won't go into too much more detail, but I think the coolest thing about it is that we're going to be able to highlight all the great things from local Iowa farmers. Like, there's a lot of commercial farming. There's everything's a bigger co-op, and it's expensive to be an independent family farm. But the people that are keeping that alive, the producers for people like Birkwood, are going to be on front and center. So that's going to be so cool for the Iowa farmer too.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to get some of this meat inside of my body.
Yeah,
Right now, I'm still working on getting some of the taco tico out of my body from Friday because
yeah.
as I always make my way up to Algona, I'm either stopping in Fort Dodge or Mason City and dipping my taste buds into some taco tico. So
You
it
know,
was,
you said 48 weeks we're basically into this. The amount of taco tico that's been mentioned actually isn't as much as I would have guessed.
yeah, no, you're right. God, I promise you, people, it is a sixth sense, not sixth sense of my life. It is a human nature.
Mm-hmm. It's one of the core. I'd say it's that cornerstone of what built Nate Creeps,
They
no doubt.
dissect me 80, 70% water or whatnot, 10% or 20% bone mass, all that, 10% taco tico. You'll
Mm-hmm.
find
Mm-hmm.
that in my soul.
I really think that they'd be like the perfect sponsor. I mean, it wouldn't have to be much, but I just think with your affiliations for so many years, it would make a ton of sense. But yeah, I understand. I mean, usually the pod is the great Monday morning cleanse for us, but man, I will say great barbecue. All the meat was delicious, but it is still working its way through. Um, what else do we have going on this weekend? I think we're kind of chilling. There's a lot of people moving right now in my family. A lot of people moving spots.
I got home Sunday and I was just burnt to a crisp. I got my new bike.
Mm-hmm.
Purchased my new bike over at Shields. We
Mm-hmm.
saw the great or Instagram clip of me retrieving my bike up on my
Yep.
flatbed, and I was able to extract that bike with a portable forklift.
Yeah.
And she's so I put in about oh 30 some miles, no, maybe 25 miles so far on my new bike. It's running
Okay.
smooth. It's
Yeah.
it's a great new hobby to my life. So looking forward to some more adventures and discovering some of these trails out here in Cedar Falls.
Yeah, so you've got tons of biking to do in preparation for Ragbri, but even just looking ahead to the events before then, there's Sturgis Falls and 4th of July, and I'm sure you guys got some busy weekends. Do you think you'll be able to get enough miles in to feel really good about Ragbri?
Yes, I
Yeah,
do. Yes, especially with the route this year.
yeah,
Other routes I could look at. I don't think no matter how much I prepared,
yeah,
I might not be prepared. It just depends on how hilly it is. If you get a flat route, almost anyone can do it. I
yeah,
strongly believe that.
yeah. I mean, what
Maybe I'll go
fun!
drive it. Go drive that route, see what it looks like. If it looks a little bit scary, you guys might not hear from me that day. Just won't show up. It's,
Yeah,
if
I
it's
guess
looking
I guess
hilly.
Nate's not riding this like we thought he was. Yeah, but what a good year to get into biking. Like, right, you have like a final goal of like I'm hitting that 50 miles from Iowa Falls to Cedar Falls. Perfect time to really hammer home this new hobby.
Yeah, that's exactly why I did it. I said it made too much sense to not or to get a bike this year, and that's exactly what it is. I'm glad I went through with it. Made a couple trips. I had to get a special bike ordered in for me, but it's working out really well for me. So excited to get that going. Bryce, usually we record this podcast at 11 a.m. on the Monday
Yeah.
morning.
Yes.
There was talks of doing it yesterday. I wimped out of it. You pulled me back in it to do it today, but we're currently recording here at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on
Hmm.
June 16th because you and I we
We had a
we
big
saw
morning.
we put 18 holes a day with each other
Yeah,
down in Iowa
and
City.
we got joined by two of Iowa's, well, two new Iowa residents, kind of, because those boys have been everywhere, but two of Iowa's most famous residents from Temptation Island, Danny and Logan.
Danny Spongberg and Logan Paulson from Netflix's Temptation Island. Uh, the God, what a great day it was! But what I really enjoyed about the day was just how cool they were. You
Yeah.
kind of forget that aspect when you just see these guys on TV. You might get a quick glimpse of like, oh, they suck. No, we hung out with them all day. Not going to play 36 more holes with these guys. It
Hmm.
was a fun day. And our new segment we're starting here on Iowa Chill YouTube, Breaking 60, where we're
Yep.
going to team up with some of the notable names here in the state and play some awesome selected courses throughout the state and see if we can't break 60. I'm not gonna give some spoilers today, but let's just say we did a little temptation on that
Yeah.
60. We did better than I thought we would.
We tempted the number. We'll say that. Yeah, I agree. And I guess I didn't know how much the boys had been golfing
No, we had
because
no
I
idea.
know I know where we're at, and that's like I'd say it's solid for being guys that kind of came out of the COVID era and have just kind of been getting into the game. But we in a 4-man are not usually the best players. Um, Danny was surprisingly really good. Logan apparently had not touched a club in a long time, and you could tell. But hey, he even had a few shots towards the end that was pretty fun. He got in the action, got us a couple birdie looks. So I was pleasantly surprised with how they played today.
Yeah. Like I said, we walked in not knowing what kind of team or unit we would have today playing at Brown Deer in
Yeah.
Corva. Beautiful course, by the way.
Uh huh.
Uh, and when one person or when three of us had a shitty shot, one person always came through.
Yeah. Yep.
And so the team really gelled. The team really worked really well with each other. I'd say
Hmm.
it was a really
That's
solid team.
That's so true. And the fun, it's great having an ace on your team. Obviously, it helps everything. But I do think that there's something to the team that we put together at the YP Open last October at Glen Oaks and the team that we had today, where you really feel the need to step up for your teammate almost because you can't just rely on the one guy to always be in the fair. That being said, your banana slice hit at least 14 fairways today. That
Good.
thing was automatic. That was awesome.
Yep, my Notorious Slice. Don't hit it very far, but I put it out there where the boys could feel comfortable to let loose. And I would say on every single par four, you or Danny had us within 30, 40 yards of that green on every
Yeah.
single par four. Our farthest hit was 30, 40 yards outside of the green from a par four. It
Yeah,
was our day was made easy. And
yeah.
fortunately, we were the worst putters in the history of putting today.
We did not putt the ball well. And then the other funny thing that happened because we played from the whites, and I imagine for 18 that was like 6,100 yards, like super short. And so yeah, we were very close to the green after every drive. Well, towards the middle of the round, I'm like, I haven't even really used an iron in a while, and now my iron game is not crispy. And I
That's what you
definitely
get
felt that
for
on the par threes. Yeah, right, right. So yes, I think with a little bit better putting day, we take that into double digits easy. There are
we
some
give her
fireworks at the end of this video, so I would imagine we get this thing published with Logan and Danny in about 2 weeks. I'm very excited for people to watch that.
there's gonna be a lot of solid clips on there.
Yeah,
And
yep.
yeah, just a great day. Would you but you loved the course?
Love the course.
Around
I
here?
would I would go back. I think I would go back a couple tee boxes. Honestly, I like being able to hit a couple more clubs in the bag, but I think for today's sake, it made so much sense. But yeah, beautiful course. I hadn't really spent much time north of Iowa City. It's what technically Coralville, but yeah, I would totally go back. It'd be fun to play that or Thinkbine before it closes down for a year and a half before a tailgate or something.
Yeah, Brown Deer is basically where I started my golfing journey during COVID. Kept going out there. We kept liking it, so we kept going back. So I was glad you were able to experience it.
Yeah.
We played it well today,
Hmm.
and really nice and generous to the people over there at Brown Deer, especially Brian, the PGA pro there, to let us onto the course and welcome us with open arms and excited about
Yeah.
them and some
Yeah,
content
they
we
were
can share
great,
with
man.
them.
They were so good. Letting us bring the drone out, let us interrupt everybody's time. It seems like they had a senior men's day, and all those guys were super generous too, letting us putt and just kind of chip around all day. But yeah, I totally will go back, and I'm really excited about who we find for the next round of guests.
Yeah, that's gonna be the best part is hey, who's next? We're gonna
Yeah.
build a lot of cool relationships, and there's no doubt in my mind we're gonna get back out in the tees with a new amped up. Logan Paulson, I know he's going to put some work in this summer, and
Yeah.
I know Danny's game's always going to be ready. So shout out to them too for joining us, kind of a last second,
Yeah.
and they made it work. And what a great day that was, Bryce. You know the drill. You got 3
Mm-hmm.
Iowans coming up to your door,
Mm-hmm.
but you can only have one beer with them. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to have a beer with one of them.
Okay. Okay, that's better. I like that better. Yeah.
A. Kirk Ferentz. B. Ben McCollum. C. Lisa Bluter.
Okay. Another really good list. I I'm pretending like I'm thinking, but I already know my answer. I am going with Kirk Ferentz, and I'm really pumped with what Ben McCollum's about to bring to this basketball program at the University of Iowa. Love Lisa Bluter. I see that she's been hanging out in press boxes and drinking beers herself. Um, Kirk is hands down one of my favorite coaches of all time. I love how he has carried himself. I love how the players talk about him. And now that he's towards the end of his coaching career, I feel like he has experienced and mentored and been a part of such cool moments throughout 25, 27 years, whatever he's been around for that program. I think the stories that he could tell, I think that's what makes me like kind of like shoe him in as the winner this week, because he would be able to share about 27 years of Iowa football, and I think that'd be awesome.
Bryce, for the first time, we're going to disagree on this
Okay.
segment, and there's no wrong answer here. There really
All
never
right.
is, and there never will be. I'm going to go for Lisa Bluter.
Yeah.
Just almost a
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark aspect of it alone, just to
Sure.
hear the stories behind the scenes, chaotic scenes, and what shit they had to experience and deal with, and the stories she could whip up about that era. Man, that's worth it to me. And I
Yeah.
love Lisa Bluter. Outside of
Hmm.
Caitlin Clark, I just love Lisa Bluter. One of the
She's
best.
so cool.
Oh my gosh, she's awesome.
I love her.
And I just know we would laugh and have a good time. Kirk might kind of try to study me a little bit, understand if he likes me or not. Ben McCollum would pit me right online, and we'd be running killers.
I have no idea what. Yeah, Ben would run you crazy, and you
We're,
probably would
we're
deserve
going to
it too.
practice. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that after that first beer, Kirk would open up, and I don't know how he is. I don't even think he really drinks much, but I do think that what you really kind of crack the nut once you get that first beer in him. But hey, great choices.
So we got Keith Murphy, Sean Johnson, and Kirk Ferentz for your list,
Yeah.
and we'll see how eventually how far they get. I don't know how many weeks we're going to do this until we decide where we're going to bracketize it and move forward with it. But Kirk Ferentz and Lisa Bluter, we're having a beer with you.
Okay.
June 16th here. It's kind of a smuggy look at it. I don't know if it's raining out there in Des Moines, but we just got a little rain here, which is
Oh,
good.
did
We're
you?
gonna
Okay.
Yeah, thank God. My freaking yard needed it. I just got done fertilizing it last week, so I need some water to kind of get on top of it and make
Yeah.
things a little bit greener. We're gonna look at some weather records here for June 16th. It started getting a little hot there today
Mm-hmm.
in Coralville, but for June 16th in Waterloo, Iowa, the highest ever recorded temperature was 96 degrees Fahrenheit, set in
Mm-hmm.
1933. Not crazy. That's not
Pretty hot,
crazy.
but yeah, not crazy.
It's high. It's hot, but not crazy. Lowest temperature 43 degrees, set in 1989. A little chilly.
Ooh. Yeah.
Most precipitation is 2.07 inches, set back in 2014, our graduation year, Bryce. Snow, we have no snow. I know it's going to be no snow, but I'm going to say it every time and report it.
Yeah, it'll be funny when it's like July 4th and you're like, yeah, no snow in the history of Iowa. But I
There's
wouldn't be
going to be one.
surprised if one of
There's
these
gonna
days it's going to just totally surprise us.
There is a little bit of history on this day, and this is not a good day for me because on June 16th in 1968, Iowa State University broke ground on Hilton Coliseum in Ames,
Mm,
and that groundbreaking has forever brought nothing but misery to my life because
yeah,
Hilton Coliseum is one of the most treacherous, hostile environments in all of college basketball, and I do
yeah.
not have good memories watching my teams compete there.
In a way, it's metaphorically the end of Iowa basketball's reign, I would say.
Yeah.
It's really the place where the Hawkeyes have gone to die. And I feel, I'd say over the last 15 years that there's a lot of trading wins at respective arenas, but Hilton is a tough place to play.
You
And
don't
and
just
really
walk.
like it's a pillar in the Big 12 now. Like I think everyone has really recognized that the fan base shows up. That's a cool piece of history.
It's got one of the best layouts, and obviously their students show up to games. If you can get students to show
Hmm.
up to any college basketball game in a decent arena, it's going to
Hmm.
be a very hostile arena, especially when the students are on each side of the basketball courts there. So they didn't know back in 1968 when I stuck that little shovel in some dirt, they were going to make my life absolute hell. So
Yeah,
I hate you guys for doing that. But good luck. That is a cool day there for, or historical day there for Ames. Bryce, you're going to know a little bit more about this than me here in Iowa news because it sounds like there's some water trauma going on over there in Ankeny.
there sure
We
is.
we have a water shutdown in Ankeny. There's currently a mandatory lawn watering suspension in effect for Ankeny due to high nitrate levels in the Des Moines and Raccoon rivers, which are a source of drinking water.
Hmm.
This ban, known as the Conservation Plan Stage, is in place to reduce water demand and maintain safe drinking water standards. Violations of the ban can result in water services shut off and fines. What the hell is going on there?
High nitrate levels, and I can't tell you. I don't know what it does to you, but it is a carcinogen, and you have increased risk of cancer if you consume this stuff. And honestly, I think there's some transdermal kind of things too. It makes you a little squeamish to even take a shower. But yeah, we got a notice too over in Waukee. I think it's kind of the whole metro. And yeah, no watering lawns. So we did get blasted by a thunderstorm. We needed that.
That's
Um,
good. Can you guys not
yeah.
water lawns there, or is it just Hankeny? They tell you no
No,
water.
yeah, it's Waukee. Everybody in Waukee is
Really?
yeah. So there's a stage to this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're in stage 3, and at stage 4, you have to start water rationing. So that'd be like limiting shower time and wash loads, and whatever else. But yeah, at the moment, I think if we keep it under control, and I think it's just irrigation, and then we can be out of this thing. But yeah, I think all the farm runoff, lack of rain. Really, it was 2 nice weeks in May, then a couple rainy days, but then it was really the wildfires and no rain. So yeah, I guess we just need more of it.
Man, tough time to be a grassmaster. Because I
Yeah.
know some of my brother's friends who live in Ankeny who are pretty pissed off that they can't water their lawn right now. Who
It's always
look
crazy
forward
to
to
me
it.
how quickly things die. Like
Oh
we
gosh,
were
it's
a
nuts.
month ago, it was so lush, like everything green.
Hmm.
You wouldn't believe that it would ever die, and then it takes 2 weeks of dry, and here we
Yeah,
are.
just a couple of days of sunlight just beating down on it. All of a sudden, it's just dry as dust.
Ca-
We had a windstorm hit us last Thursday or last Wednesday night,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
it was so dry out. It looked like my neighborhood was in a dust bowl.
yeah.
Like you could barely see the outer neighborhood limits because we were surrounded by dust from the fields. That's just how freaking dry it was,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just so refreshing to get a little bit of rain. We probably just got maybe 1/8 of an inch right now, so not shit, but it still feels
Yeah.
good.
There's something so like calming and cleansing about a rain after it's been dry for a while in the summer. Like it's a nice. You've usually been outside quite a bit by now, and it's just like a nice break. Like
Oh
throw on
God,
a little movie, relax a little bit, put some aloe in your sunburn,
yeah.
and let the grass grow. Like I'll say this: my only thing on this whole water irrigation thing, I cannot stand when commercial and residential properties are watering their lawn when we've been getting rain. It's like save that water. Like what are we doing
Oh,
here?
they'll water the shit out of it. You got to see downtown Main Street, not downtown, but like in between University and like Main Street here in Cedar Falls.
Yeah.
They have some of the roads blocked off, and this one stretch for like 2.5 blocks. I bet there's 30 some sprinklers going on nonstop.
I can't
I'm like,
stand it.
holy shit,
I think it's so wasteful. I don't, obviously Cedar Falls is pulling from the Cedar River and we're pulling from the Raccoon in Des Moines, but at the same time, like it still has to be processed. It's going through all, the channels. So I'd like to see a little bit more awareness even when we're not in these weird times, but hey, maybe that's just the old man in me getting a little bit more like environmental friendly, but it just seems
See.
like ridiculous.
Yeah, I think nothing of it because I really never knew it was a problem.
Yeah.
Never thought if anyone watering the lawn would be a problem. But when you get older, you realize how much shit we kind of put in it. Like I just
Hmm.
dumped a whole bag of fertilizer on my lawn because I
Yeah.
wanted it to be green, but I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I totally get it too. Like you want your lawn to look
Uh-huh.
nice. Like it's very pleasing to the eye,
If
but
my neighbors are doing a good job, I have to do a good job.
yeah, oh,
So it's
absolutely.
that neighbor love fight thing we have going on. They mow. No, I got to freaking mow. It's how it works out here. It really
Yeah.
is.
I'll keep
You
you
just
guys
don't.
posted on this whole thing. I have no idea how long this will last, but we'll do a weekly update for as long as it lasts. And if I start having like weird growths and shit, we know it's from the water.
Yeah, I'll be curious to keep up to date with that. Speaking of rainstorms, I just saw a very intriguing stat here posted on our Iowa Chill
Hmm.
channel. Some dude on X, Adam Morgler, says over 5,200 severe thunderstorm tornado warnings, or thunderstorm and tornado warnings issued by the National Weather Service in May. Only 9 of those were in Iowa. 9 out of the 5,200
Yeah,
were in Iowa, where this time last year we led the entire country in tornadoes.
I
That's
know.
nuts.
Crazy. And it's very evident. Like, we have had no severe weather warnings, um, hardly any rain lately. And it's just weird. And, the
Look at
narrative
that
of,
picture. Look at that picture I put on there. If you don't think I'm the freaking dome, we're gonna show that picture to the people. It's just a big thunderbolt around the entire Midwest, and then Iowa's is empty. Besides, like 3 of them in Des Moines.
yeah,
It's
a few.
insane.
And I don't even remember. Can I be honest? I have no recollection of when those happened, even. So it just feels like a completely non event. But the narrative that Tornado Alley is switching over to more of the west side of the Plains states, I disagree with. I think it's a weird anomaly. And I wouldn't put it past Iowa to just come in with a flurry at the end of June and end of August when it
I
starts
need
to
some. I
start to
need some
shift again.
action.
I think we're still going to get it. I'm not buying into the whole
I don't know.
tornado
I've
alley
already
thing
sold out.
shifting.
Usually, when it gets past May, I usually feel like it's
Yeah,
no hope for. Well, I mean, we'll get some like thunderstorms, but tornado
right.
weather, I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
Damn.
Sad.
And I love
Non-events.
storms, so nope, it's not good. Not a lot of because that's the exciting thing we need here in Iowa. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We'll move on from
Yep.
hopefully get some storms here. We at least give me some rain.
Yeah,
We need that rain, right?
we sure did.
All right, Rice. We are gonna be ranking the top 5 redneck towns in Iowa, and this is not a dog on these towns. I
No,
love redneck Iowa.
I
I
do
come
too.
from a redneck town,
I would say
and
even Pella had its fair share of rednecks, and I think I participated in those
yeah.
activities. So I think it's an endearing term.
Oh, awesome. It's part of Iowa, and if you don't have a redneck town, and you gotta have a little redneck in your
Yeah.
town,
Oh, absolutely.
especially here in the Midwestern state. So, without further ado, I'll go ahead and lead us off with this list. At my number 5, Bryce, if I can pull up my list here, actually. Okay, my number 5 is my hometown. It's Algona. I'm going to put
Mm-hmm.
Algona as top 5 redneck town in Iowa. I saw
Yeah.
multiple. There's some resources online, some people agreeing, and I grew up in it. Nowadays, I don't know. It's kind of shifted away a little bit from a redneck
Uh-huh.
town, but growing up in my graduation year, 2014, it was a redneck era. I had a straight piped pickup truck, and I have no redneck genes in me, but everyone around me had a straight pipe pickup truck, so it was the thing to do. We had CB radios. Breaker
Oh yeah.
Breaker 19, this is Rubber Ducky.
Yep. Yep.
I was
Did you have?
indulged in it.
I mean, you guys had barn parties.
Oh yeah, shed
Yeah.
parties, machine shed, you name it.
I think you fall into that list, and I'm actually going to give
Mhm.
Algona and Kasuth County an honorable mention because that was I did a quick little scoop and opinions from the content group, and they put Kasuth on there, and I've been up there, had not a ton of redneck experiences, I would say, but I think you fall in that category.
Yeah.
I'm going to start us off with Carroll, Iowa.
Okay.
Bring us
Western.
back. Yep, little western part of the state, and I tried to kind of go in the 5 corners, including a corner for the metro. Um, Bring us back to the Jefferson slip and slide party, the River Farm, and half the attendance is from
Yeah.
Carroll, Iowa.
Oh,
And
that's a
those
good
those
point.
guys know how to party, and they know how to throw an outdoor party with not a lot to work with. And like we said, it's an endearing term because they make the most fun with the least amount of resources, for sure.
Didn't put 2 and 2 together there. Yeah, absolutely. Carol is nothing but ATV riding,
Mm-hmm.
jacked up pickup truck, redneck people who are awesome. Shout out to Daytona Shrek, who was just with Cooper DeJean this last weekend.
Oh,
I just
okay.
saw on her Instagram that she was hanging out with them. So great people over there. If you want to have a good time and experience a good Iowa redneck party, go hang out with them. I
Yep.
promise you, you're gonna get something out of it.
Yep. I'm going to circle us back with a little bit more south. I think of these guys when I think of baseball, old school football success with Mr. DeWard, Albia, Southern Iowa, baby. When I think of redneck, I don't think as much of like the Canadian, Minnesota, Wisconsin rednecks. I think of like the down home Missouri, like
Yeah.
beer belly out, and that's really what Southern Iowa's about. And we saw a little bit more of that down in Pella. Albia, great. It really is a decent town, but they got some redneck energy for sure.
Never been out. I maybe have to slip through Albia, so don't know much history on that. I'll take your word for it. Bryce, my number 4 is Corning, Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a blind dart into a haystack because I've actually never been to Corning. I don't know a single thing about Corning. But if your name is Corning, you got to have a little redneck in you.
Right.
So this is a terrible way to rank a town based off the way we're doing it, but I'm going with it. And I'm
Okay.
hoping that I threw something on a wall and it stuck.
How big of a town is Corning?
I think about like 1,800 maybe 2,000.
I think you automatically fall into redneck category if you're under 3,000.
Yeah.
So I
I
think
hope
you're probably safe there.
I
And
hope I'm right.
I did the same thing. I guess you're circling back, but I did the same thing on one of these.
Number 3, I know damn well is a redneck town. I've never been there, but I've seen enough history going on there. Creston, Iowa.
Uh-huh. I almost put Creston on there.
Not Cresco, Creston, Iowa,
Yep.
just southwest of there to Des Moines, or
Yep.
maybe it's just straight west.
Yep.
Major redneck.
Yes.
I run into the Iowa Chill
100%.
pages. I know I've seen my fair share of Creston activities.
Yes.
Redneck.
Mm-hmm. Creston is 100%. I agree. I've never been there either, but just the amount of times that you see somebody putting in something crazy from Creston, they count. I'm going up just east of Okoboji, Esterville.
Really?
And I'm going that way because one, alpha of assumption. Two, I just met a young man, pig farmer, from Esterville. Sounds like they're struggling to keep a lot of local business in town. The whole Bogie area does a great job of keeping strong business minds in the areas and the small towns around Bogie. But Esterville, I'm going to put it on there just because they can't be brainwashed by those cool lake kids. I think that they're just far enough out where, yeah, you can get to Bogie if you want, but you're kind of just on the skirts there in the middle of nowhere, northwest Iowa.
The famous nickname of Ezra Lincoln Midgets. That's
Oh,
the
yeah?
only problem. So I'm blinded by that. I'm not saying they're not a redneck town. I just midgets.
Mm-hmm. Just that. Yeah, fair. I'm going to kind of break the rules because
Okay.
I'm circling back, right?
Yeah.
I'm going with a cluster of towns.
Is this your number 2?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That's fine. I'm gonna do the same thing here for my number 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moravia, Corydon, Bloomfield, and Ottumwa area. And obviously Ottumwa is maybe a little too big for redneck, but I believe there's an equal amount of redneck activity happening in Ottumwa as there is in this little section. Once again, it's southern Iowa. You drive through, it feels Amish, it feels desolate, and it feels like you really have to make your own fun. There's not a lot going on there, and then we've spoken our piece on Ottumwa, so I'm not going to dig any deeper on that one, but that whole area. And shout out to Connor Young, a Bloomfield native. He's done his best to up his game and become a city guy, but at heart is just a small town redneck that was partying in the barn. Oh yeah.
I know where he wants to be, but I know where his heart is. Right.
Yeah. Right. So I should be getting down to that area. I think we're playing in a tournament in 2 weeks. I'll report back on whether or not I was correct. But I've driven through there to the Ozarks quite a few times.
And it seemed just a little redneckish to you.
Yeah, yeah.
My number 2 is a cluster of towns too, and this is the North Lynn Community School District. It's got Coggin, Walker, Iowa, all those little towns just northeast of Cedar Rapids, right there.
Yeah.
And Troy Mills, redneck as fuck. Because my coworker Tommy, love him.
Yeah.
Biggest redneck dude I've ever met in my life. I mean, their high school is out in the middle of nowhere. When your high school is out in the middle of nowhere, you're redneck, okay? And it's just a bunch of small little communities. Both my coworkers are from that area, and I've seen the area. I've breathed the air. I talk to these guys on a daily basis for the last 3 years. Redneck. It's arguably the most redneck town in Iowa, or redneck community. I'll say it's the biggest redneck cluster of towns in Iowa, hands down. I'll die on a grave in that. And my number 1. I hope we have the number 1.
We do.
Yeah, it's got to be. Number 1 most redneck town in Iowa. I can confidently say this is on Bryce's list. Greene, Iowa.
Yeah. Yes. They did make and I'm going to throw Allison in there too. I cheated on my last 2, but I think it's worthwhile to include Allison in that too. There's nobody like the Greenies, man. The Greenies know how to do it. Shell Rock River parties and just old school drinking Busch Light. Throw fastballs, no junk. Yeah.
They're
I,
like
I
another version of the Carroll Mafia, of the Redneck
they
Mafia.
are. Yeah.
You get one, you get 50 of them. It was just some of the most mind-boggling parties I've always been to, whether we threw one back at 114 Lawrence Drive.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Yep.
invited 2 greenies over, you had 30
All of a sudden
greenies
you met the whole
in
town.
your
Yep.
driveway. It was
Shout
insane.
out to Tyler Murfeld. He just got married this weekend.
Oh, did he?
He
Hey,
did.
he's gonna be
Yeah.
my neighbor. He's gonna live right across the street from me.
Okay, so that ended up happening. That's awesome. Well, and
I didn't
congrats
know
to
you.
them.
I didn't. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations, to him. Yeah, but man, just they do it better. Nobody does it better than the Greenies. They're famously known for River Days.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen it with my own eyes. I've heard you've had an experience there.
Never been to River Days, but I
Oh, you
have
haven't?
spent a little time at the 4th of July, and it sounds very similar. I think there's more of like a festival around town and that sort of thing. But yeah, seen some fireworks and done the river party, and it's awesome. I would go back in a heartbeat. Thanks to Dan Mao for letting us crash his pontoon, which I don't believe is in commission anymore. I think he's upgraded, but that thing
Yeah.
was legendary. I think he pretty much hand built that thing, and yeah, nobody does it like the Greenies, man. I
Yeah.
told. Can we agree on something? There are those clusters. I would rank like Carroll, Green, and Allison area and Cresco as just clusters of people that can get together and like you
Cresco
you
is one of them,
you meet
no
one, you meet
doubt.
a thousand.
Uh-huh. They
Feel like
stick
I've
together.
yeah yeah. Shout out to those towns that just stick together. Tight knit groups. They're always fun to hang out with and party with.
Yeah, yeah. I don't want you don't want to see greenies too much. It's not the lifestyle I need. It's not a very healthy lifestyle.
What
But
about
they don't
Trey and
care.
Sheldon?
They don't care that they and that's why I respect them. Say, hey,
Yep.
this is who we are. We're going to continue to do us. You either join us or not. No big deal. We're going to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I just get a couple tastes of them, I went to a wedding in Cancun where a bunch of greenies were there, and it was time to get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
They were going to pit me to my
The,
grave.
the other thing about these clusters and these tight knit groups is that they drink harder than anybody. I think they've been
Oh,
doing it for so long.
greenies are some of the best at it. And my cousin Chris, who was a greenie before he lived in Greenie, was just a perfect missing piece to the puzzle there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He fit right in. Man, I'd kill to see Chris. It's been just about a year since I think I've seen him. Hope he's doing well.
Good list there, Bryce. I think we kind of nailed that.
Yeah,
We did some maybe controversial ones, but that's okay. What would the list be if we didn't maybe throw a dart at a wall and hope it would stick, right?
I don't want this segment to become a thing where we're researching and like actually knowledgeable.
Yeah,
I want
no.
it to be like off the dome. And
Uh-huh.
people will take it out of context and be like, these guys know nothing. And it's true. We don't know anything.
They didn't know how many pigs were slaughtered and the date from
Mhm.
May 12th to May 18th. That's what a redneck town is. No, we don't. We don't know the stats. We look at it, we feel it.
Yes, it's a gut feeling.
It really
Yep.
is. So
Mhm.
many more lists to come. But Bryce, it's been a busy day. Let's end this thing.
Let's wrap it up.
Let's get on to this weekend and conquer it.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks for watching. See you later.